What's going on, squad? I'm going to go ahead and give another little tutorial here. We're going to kind of go over how to remove a shock on a ProXP. It doesn't matter if it's a 2-seater, a 4-seater, it should be the same. Now granted, I do have the whole front end tore off this, so it's going to be a whole lot easier for me to get to this upper bolt, but it is possible to kind of go up from under the fender and get to this bolt. But man, it sure is a pain in the butt. They do recommend pulling the top cover off. If you don't know how to do that, I go over that in my how to tear the front end off of a ProXP. It's real simple, just a couple of T40s and a couple push pins can get you in there. That would help tremendously. But what I got to do today is I got to get this shock pulled off. The shock's leaking in the lower seal. It's pretty much almost leaked out all the oil out of it. It's what the wet spot in the floor is over there. Don't know why it started leaking. It just did. Got in contact with Walker Evans instead of going through Polaris. Real friendly, great people. They sent me out a shock as soon as they could. You know, they're constantly building shocks for new rigs and warranties, and they already, you know, they do custom race stuff as well. So they got it, you know, sent out to me as quick as they could, and now it's time to get it put on. And that's kind of what I'm gonna go over here. Mainly, all that's gonna take to remove it is take the bottom bolt loose, and you're gonna wanna kind of pull up here on the bottom to kind of give it some slack so you can pull the pin or the nut, the bolt. And then also at the top, you're gonna remove this bolt here. Kind of, I like removing the bottom first because it allows you to free hang the shock so that when your top one's loose, you don't have to fight pulling this up to get the bolt tension, get the tension off the bolt. Makes it go a lot easier. And then I'm not gonna do any daring or trying ratchet strap spring compressors. I've got buddies with, you know, professional shops that have spring compressors, mounted spring compressors, and what I'll do is I'll take it over there and show you how that works. It's not a big deal. Most people ain't gonna have access to that. You can rent spring compression tools from O'Reilly's or AutoZone or Advance Auto. They kind of are hard to use on shocks like these, but you can make them work. If you're going to be doing a lot of shock work, changing springs, doing stuff like that, it goes a long way to buy one of those mounted spring compressors to be able to change these things out. Man, it helps tremendously. So what I'll do here is I'll kind of pull this thing off real quick and throw it in the truck, and we'll run over to the shop and put the springs on the new shock. Okay, so it's going to take a 15 socket and ratchet. Got the trusty Milwaukee stubby here. I got a wobble on it for the top. It just helps get in there. Bust that off real quick. Like I said in the beginning, you got to kind of get this washer off. Kind of lift up on the bottom here. Get the tension off of it. Okay. Get that out. So now we're gonna move to the top. Like to always put my bolts back where they go so I don't lose them. So we're gonna go to the top up here. out. You got your one ProXP front shock. All right, so we made over here to my buddy's shop. He's gonna let me use the spring compressor he's got. So most of y'all ain't gonna have one of these machines. This makes it 1,000 times easier. I went ahead and just set it up in the machine. It's got the teeth here to hold the spring in place. We'll get it bound down, and I'll show you how to remove this plate here. See if I got it all right. Just making sure the teeth are all grabbing good. Just compress it till this plate gets loose. We're almost there. We're there. Here, hold that. So just need to get this cup loose. I guess I should have pried that loose first, or that. A lot easier if you pry that bump stop down some. Okay. There we go. Just pried the bump stop down so that it comes, lets this cup loose. Almost there. The fronts are a lot harder than the rears. Rear, you can just back the retaining nut off and be able to get it off there. Now, normally, like if you're changing the springs out, you would just let the tension off and put your new spring in. But since what we're doing is changing the whole shock because it's leaking, we're just gonna take it off, leave the spring under tension so we don't have to redo it. And what I do is just, technically, usually I just measure the nut height here, but since I'm able just to hold it still, I'm just gonna do it by eyeball. Pretty darn close there. Then just reverse the order here. Slide the tender spring, make sure it sits in the cup. It's got arrows here on opposite sides so that you 180 the springs. And then got the safety chain on it. Just 180 in the springs. Get the retainer, get it put back on, and then we're going to release its spring pressure. And it is that simple.